Hey, Anthony, we're back. And I survived Vegas. How do you feel?
I heard you went fishing.
I did. Let's find out what happened coming up right
I'm
now.
Anthony. Welcome to No Vacancy Live. That's my friend Glenn.
You're watching the #1 show in hospitality.
Oh my goodness, Anthony Melchiori. What a freaking week. I went to 4 of the coolest concerts ever at the MGM Grand Garden Arena. Big thanks to Mark G for helping make my experience a little bit better than hopefully everyone else's out there. So thanks for that. How are you,
Mark G is the man. He's a great human being. Thank you, Mark G, for hooking Glenn up. And so tell me, you went fishing, and what did you fish? Tell me what you caught.
So I got to go to four amazing concerts. And I will tell you, man, these guys are at the top of their freaking game right now. I thought they were doing incredible stuff for the last 30 years that I've been going to these shows. But right now, they are so freaking tight as a band. The stuff that they are doing just takes it up to levels above levels that I thought it would be. So for me, all 4 shows, it was just like from the first note to the last note. It was absolutely incredible. Of course, good food, good drinks, good friends, lots of amazing folks within the community. It just made for an awesome super time.
Yeah,
Plus,
but I checked with Human Resources, and I checked your vacation days, and you were fine up until yesterday when you took that as a vacation day,
right?
So we're gonna have to put a note in your file because I didn't realize you were taking yesterday also vacation day. So I got an announcement here. I'm taking tomorrow.
You are?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Well, I will tell you, you're going to be missed, Anthony Melchiori. You are going to be tragically missed. What are you doing tomorrow? You got to go.
So what's your favorite? I actually have a client I have to deal with.
Yeah, okay.
What's your favorite moment of the 4 days? Could be in the Fish concert, could be at the hotel, could be a person you met, a drink you had, a dinner you had. What's the moment that stands out?
The moment that stands out, honestly,
where you were like, "Wow!"
It's that moment where you get through security into the concert for the first moment, and you've arrived, and it's like, yeah. And there's something about this community. You don't see it at things like Rolling Stone shows where they played Tampa last Friday, where people are just so excited to be there in the venue that one person goes, woo, and then everybody else starts doing that.
Right. And I imagine because I would imagine it's a little bit like, Parrot Heads.
Yeah.
That you like my people are here. Like,
that's right.
Like everybody else, don't understand us, and it's our people.
That's right. Exactly. And I will tell you, it is amazing because then you have all these instant relationships, right? And everything is kind of a shorthand with other people and all of that. Right. Really kind of good stuff.
Was there anybody there that that was there for the first time that you met?
Yes. Our friend and my Friday night audit co-host, Craig Sullivan. I took him to his first ever show on that Saturday night.
What was his opinion? What was his opinion?
It was awesome to watch something like that. You know kind of how, like, Anthony, when you take your kids to something and you get to watch it through their eyes for the first time.
Yeah. My favorite is to take people to Times Square for the first time.
Right. So I felt that same kind of thing. So he's standing there, and no more than a minute and a half into this concert, he's like, oh my God. And then, like, the entire time at set break, he was like, this is outstanding. This is incredible.
And now, how often do they travel? Like, how many concerts are they doing? Is it like they do like 5 big ones and they're done for a year, or how's it work?
No, they tour constantly. Back in the day, they would do over 100+ shows a year. Now it's not as many. Because this year was a little weird, kind of making up for last year, they did a summer tour that was in July and August through September weekend. Then they only took a couple of weeks off, and they did a West Coast fall tour, which they rarely do. So they've been doing.
It seems like a lot of work, man. It seems to be able to be that creative for that long. And like you were saying, it's different lights. They give you a comic book the last show.
Yeah. Right. So just for people who don't know, what's really cool about this is they have a Halloween show. And on the second set of the night, they play 3 instead of 2 that night. They do a Halloween costume. In the past, they've done other bands' music. Like they've done the White Album from the Beatles. They've done Talking Heads, Remain in Light. They did the Main Street album from Exile on Main Street from the Rolling Stones. But recently they've gotten more creative. So they created this band called Sci-Fi Soldier that came back from the year 4680 to save us from the future. And then when everybody gets in, they give everyone a cool comic book that they did. And all the members of Sci-Fi Soldier are in here. We get introduced to them. And then we learn about all of that stuff and how they have to come to 10/31/21 and take over places of the guys in Fish and take over their bodies and create Sci-Fi Soldier. So
the only thing cooler than that is if they signed every copy.
Right, that would be pretty cool. But you can get signed copies if you donate to the Waterwheel Foundation, which is their charitable their charity to help teach music in schools. Okay, so listen, before we got to get right into this, we got somebody going on here. It's kind of the same thing almost, but it's going to be with sports, and it's really interesting.
You didn't ask me what I did the last 5 days.
I was going to do that next, man. I was going to do that next, but I have to do something really important.
I cried for 5 days, Glenn.
Oh my God, Anthony, that is so sad. That is so sad. But fortunately, what he's not saying is with joy that he didn't have to talk to me for 5 days.
We didn't even talk as friends, like off air, like we usually do.
I didn't talk to anybody, man. I was like fully immersed in this environment of staying up later than I needed to, getting up, eating some chicken and waffles, taking a nap, going to the next show. So, what are you going to do? I was doing some stuff. But listen, while you guys were off last week, one thing that didn't change is the importance for hanging out with the good folks over at Radisson Hotels America. They're big supporters of our show, and we'd like to ask you, if you're looking at franchise hotels over there, if you're looking to make an investment in the hospitality community, give the good folks at RadissonHotelsAmerica.com. Talk to Phil Yu, the Chief Investment Officer, and do a deal with those guys, or at least listen to what they have to say. They're pretty awesome.
Yeah, and what I like about them is they're flexible, right? Because we know a lot of these brands are so stringent, and they work with the owners and make sure that they remember that the owners are the people that they're working for. So I think they're great people. They've been around a long time. They've done a lot of different things, and it's a great company.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so Anthony, now that we've established that you've been crying for so many days, are you ready to have a cool interview that we could cheer about over here? Right now, one of the things that I love that's happened in the music and entertainment industry, specifically thinking about Fish and some other bands like this, there's a company called CID, and what they do is they give you access to events you may not have been able to get into, and it's really cool. So people that were going to these shows, for example, Fish is playing Madison Square Garden for 4 nights, December 29th through January 1st. And CID offers up all these travel packages you can get. That's kind of like what our guests are doing over at Quint Events. But instead of music, it's sports. And they can get you access to really cool things like the Super Bowl. And think about that as a consumer, how really cool that is to have all your needs taken care of in one place. But as a hotelier, to be able to partner with these people, I think that's pretty freaking awesome.
Well, listen, the Jets are going to the Super Bowl, so I want to take it to
sure. Let's bring in Brian. How do you pronounce your name? Ruid? Brian?
It's actually pronounced Reedy. Yeah, you'd never guess that way from the way it's spelled.
All right, sorry I didn't ready enough up on this to get the correct pronunciation over there, Brian. But thanks so much for joining us. So I'm over here at SoFi Stadium getting ready for the Super Bowl. And I noticed that you guys are doing these amazing travel packages to the Super Bowl. And listen, Anthony, we talk about the future of hospitality is all about access. I think this is a really cool cool thing.
And don't you think because he's on our show, he should give us a package complimentary so we can experience it and talk about it?
Seriously, and at the low price of $12,999 per person for a Red Sea section seat, then hey, I think he should give us 4. But whatever. That's just me. All right, guys, you start a conversation. I got a heater on here. It's making me too hot. I got to turn it off. Be back in 5 seconds.
Well, everybody I talk to says you're too hot.
And by the way, not the first time I've had that request at an opening of an interview, so that's appropriate.
So tell us your background and how this works. And right now, with sports betting and sports being so dominant, especially because of the pandemic and people really were jonesing. I know all I did was watch poker and basketball and football and anything that I can find on replay, a lot of sports. So tell me how you came into this and exactly what your company does.
Sure. So first, I'll a personal background. I mean, I started in technology, spent about 15 years in brick and mortar hospitality. And then about 8 years was introduced to the idea that VIP sports even existed. So over the last 7 or 8 years, we've just seen this explosion in the experiential side of the business. I mean,
Yeah.
you hear it often as a tagline now. I mean, Quint's been doing this for 20 years, but what we've seen over the last 6 or 8 years, and more specifically what we're seeing in the marketplace right now, as people have the idea of just returning back to some type of normal life and access being at a premium. I mean, the interest around our portfolio of sporting events, and you guys mentioned Super Bowl, the Kentucky Derby, Formula One, and it's not just a US-based interest. I mean, Formula One's a global sport. We're seeing this type of increased demand and this growth just across the globe. So it's a really, really exciting time for us. So you asked, what is it that we do? And I'll try to simplify that as much as possible. We partner directly with organizing bodies, and then we create VIP experiences that only those organizers can provide. So we look for the best seating, the best access, the hallowed ground that no one can step on unless the organizer authorizes it. And we create these experiential elements that just, we believe it's an opportunity to change people's lives in a positive way. I mean, they're connecting with fathers and sons and so on and so forth. It's an amazing business for us to be in today.
Anthony, you're muted.
If this wasn't your business, and they came up to you and said, Brian, I have this great business. You get one event, one VIP experience. What does Brian choose?
That puts me in a really tough spot, considering the fact that we represent about 20 organizers. So I don't want to play.
So Brian, you have to pay favorites, or we have to delete you off the show.
Derby.
Well, let me give you a couple of answers to that, and I'll say that number one, the Kentucky Derby was an event that surprised me. I thought that was an event that I would want to attend one time. My interest wasn't necessarily in horse racing. But after attending it, it has the horse racing, it has the fashion, it has the food, it has the people watching, it has the gambling, it has the drinking, whatever you want to do, it's available to you. So there's certainly benefits to that one. I will tell you that that's the one that surprised me the most, how I don't think I'll ever miss another Kentucky Derby again.
That's interesting. That's very fascinating.
Yeah. And then I will
tell you, drink anything other than mint juleps while there, or are you forced to wear mint juleps and wear a hat?
I get the sense that if you look at the crowd at the beginning of the day and you look at the crowd at the end of the day, I get the sense they're drinking a little bit of everything.
Yeah, the hats fall off a little bit. So what's your other event?
Well, so when you start talking about Formula One, I mean, there are races throughout the world and these iconic events that you get to attend. You look at the backdrop of a Monaco, you look at the experience around in Abu Dhabi, you look at what we just experienced 2 weekends ago in Austin. I mean, 400,000 attendees over a weekend at Formula One. There's such an energy and such a passion around that sport right now. And the cool part is as you travel from country to country and see the event, everyone is a little bit different. So that's why the question you asked earlier is so tough to answer, because everyone's got a little bit of a different experience tied to it.
Yeah, I think that. Lost my headset. Sorry, Anthony. You got to take the next one.
Okay, he's hot. He's dropping things. Yeah, it's your first day back. So, but what now with sports betting being such a big thing now? How is that affecting your business? Is it at all?
No, I mean it's generally not a direct tie between our guests that are attending the events. Usually, the sports betting piece of it is tied directly to the organizer and the deals that they're doing. Now, I will say that there is certainly, as you walk around and watch how people are experiencing the sport, there certainly is more mobile betting going on, interest in multiple screens so they can see if there's other events and other sporting events happening that weekend so they can keep up on what's happening in football or basketball. So, but I don't know that there's been a direct impact for our attendees or our guests.
I was in a casino and there was ability to bet on sports, and I don't really know how to do that. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to bet on a football game. So I was about to make the bet, and I was trying to figure out how to do it. And then I was like, no. Because when I watch the football game, I won't watch the football game. I'll just think about my bet. And I
Yeah.
stopped and I said, that takes all the joy out of sports. So I will never bet outside of the Super Bowl, like just, a Super Bowl pool. I will never bet on sports because I immediately said, that is not fun for me.
I will tell you
because
though,
now
Anthony,
all I care about is my bet.
I will tell you, Anthony, that is circumvented when you attend the Kentucky Derby because it is all about.
Oh, that's
who's
different.
winning.
I
You
think
get
the
to go.
Kentucky Derby
You have to go
is
race the race the race. It's incredible.
I think the reason you go to the Kentucky Derby is to have money on the horse. So I think that's completely different. But what's the most exclusive? I'm sorry, Glenn. What's the most exclusive package you offer? The one that is like just hands down insanity.
Hey, evening dinner with Anthony Melchiori.
Yeah. I'll be sleeping by 10 o'clock and be drooling by 11 o'clock.
All right, dinner with Anthony Melchiori and a poker tournament at your favorite Las Vegas casino.
Then 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm wide awake. All right. So Brian, what's the creme de la creme?
Yeah, so it's funny. I mean, every single event that we do, we add a product ladder of events and opportunities. You know, our goal is, and I'll get to the answer to your question here in a second. The goal is really for our customers to be able to start at a particular level, and as they're able to, experience and migrate up that product ladder. So we do have a little bit of something for everybody for each one of our events. But I'll say that around Formula One, there's a particular place that is considered hallowed ground, and it is the paddock. And the opportunity to be able to attend a Formula One race in the Paddock Club and then spend a day in the paddock freely walking around, which is also then bundled with something that Formula One calls a hot lap, which I had the ability to do this 2 weekends ago in Austin. Which is, in my case, I was able to get into a McLaren with a professional driver and take a lap around the track, going up to 170 miles an hour. So it combines the hospitality and attendance of the event, the behind-the-scenes access in the paddock, and then the hot lap, which is just pure adrenaline rush, which was an amazing experience.
Well, I hate to one-up you, but you have not had an adrenaline rush till you're doing 170 miles an hour in a car without a top and a roll bar on the Autobahn by yourself.
Let's do this.
Filming you.
Let's sell it.
170 miles an hour, and I stopped, and I think I had to change my underwear. I was driving, by the way. I was driving.
Oh, that speed is amazing, isn't it?
Driving like that.
You know what? When I stopped, this is exactly what I said to myself. That was my dream my whole life, to drive the Autobahn. It was top. It was ski Switzerland and drive the Autobahn. I did it all in the same year. And so as soon as I'm done driving and I'm doing 170 miles an hour, I stop and go, that was unbelievable. And I will never do that again.
Yeah. Check mark. Done.
I will never need to do that again, because when I was done, I was like, if I hit a pebble, like, they will have to identify me by my teeth.
That's a good thing you have great teeth, Anthony. So Rolando says, should Las Vegas bring back F1? Absolutely. Las Vegas needs as many different sports as it can get.
Why'd they get rid of it?
That I don't know, but I do know that at the racetrack they have Electric Daisy Carnival, and that shouldn't. And people eating ecstasy for 3 days listening to electronic music shouldn't be the biggest event they have at a racetrack. Right?
So Brian, I see you have UFC access too. I was at the last Ronda Rousey fight with my daughter right behind Joe Rogan. So I'm a big UFC fan.
Brian,
it is one of my favorite sports for sure.
Cool. So Brian, let me ask you this, and I really want to tie it back to the hoteliers and the community, for people that are learning and watching with us today. I'd like you to talk a little bit about access and what that means in order to get customers to want to say yes to premium pricing. A lot of us were hurt really badly, of course, during the days of the pandemic, and now that we're back, as you said earlier, people are out there wanting to do things, but they don't want the hassle factor. Another issue that we talk about on the show, like I went to Canada for a speaking gig, but I'm not going to go back there again until it gets easier, because it's a hassle to get all the tests to get in and to do the app and all of that kind of stuff. So I think you're perfectly situated. What should hotels be thinking about in terms of the stuff you're doing, and maybe even partnering with you guys, that sort of stuff, to create that sense of access so they too could charge premium?
And that's interesting, Glenn, because money doesn't buy happiness, but it does get rid of a lot of chaos.
That's right. Right. And for me, I'm happy under certain circumstances to throw money at the situation to just alleviate me having to do a lot of work, having to deal with maybe crowds and all of that kind of stuff, right? So how do you see that playing out with what you do and what hoteliers could take away from that?
Yeah, so you're exactly right. It ties into our business model. I mean, we're about ease of use. There's a few components that go into it. One of it is going to be the access and the ability to get into those spaces that I talk about. The other piece is just pure convenience. You know, the experience for a customer starts well before they show up for the event, especially in this day and age. From the time that they start looking for a product and how they're able to understand the details of what they're buying to the communication that happens afterwards. I mean, a significant portion of our customers are buying their package for the following year the day after an event occurs. So sometimes there's an entire year that goes by, almost an entire year before the event actually happens. So the important thing for us is to stay in constant communication with them, to provide updates as to what's going on around the event. But let's really talk about the lead up. It's ease of use. So in this day and age, you know, as we talk about attending an event, there can be vaccination protocols, there can be testing protocols, there can be on-site requirements in terms of masking or social distancing. Those things are constantly changing, and they change from venue to venue. So our experience, you know, I'll use Formula One as an example. We may have a customer that attends 4 consecutive events, and the protocols may be very, very different. So the important thing for us is to be out ahead of them with the information, to be providing them with the ease of use, the places to go, the times to show up, the testing protocols they have to have, provide them locations where they can go, and just make it really easy on them. One of the things that we've seen in this rush back to hospitality and travel and events is a lot of folks are not necessarily prepared for that rush and what it means with the additional requirements. So staffing levels being at a premium, ensuring that customers that are going to have additional questions are cared for and taken care of is really a key element. So when you start talking about the hotel aspect of it, the biggest rush for events around is going to be check-in day. Everyone, you know, and for us, you've 84% of our customers are traveling 1,000 kilometers or more, 621 miles. So it's a significant portion. So they're using beds, they're using hotels. That check-in date and that check-in time is the first part of their weekend once they show up.
Would you say it's quintessential to the experience?
It is essential that they are well prepared for that. And a lot of that can be done with the lead up and communication with us. Are there special protocols on site? Is there a special location they need to go? Is there a mobile check-in that they can do for ease of use and get a mobile key? You know, any of those things that they can be prepared to do, we can pass on to our customers to make that experience that much better.
Yeah. At music-related events, I've seen when people show up at the hotel that are part of that package, they have a separate check-in area a lot of the time, and they get a personalized experience, which plays into the whole access thing that you guys are trying to create, Brian Reedy, right? You do something similar, I'm sure.
Yeah, so I mean, we're certainly doing it at hotels. We're also doing it on site with the venues. One of the great parts of that, or working directly with the organizing body, is the ability to set up special access lines, speed lines. You know, I think about the things that are the biggest hassle. One can be check-in day. Two, and very, very, very often forgotten, is parking around an event. There's no bigger pain in the ass than showing up to an event and not having an easy way to park, get in and out of the event.
The Las Vegas Raiders are having serious problems about that.
I'm always shocked at that piece of it. And I understand it's really hard to plan for 100,000 people showing up at one place on any one day, or in the case of the Kentucky Derby as an example, 170,000. Those are challenges that can be thought through, worked through, and what we're able to do oftentimes is provide special access to make sure their parking is secured, their transportation is secured, their check-in is secured, they've got a speed line to get into the event. And then once they get there, then the real amenities start, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And I'd imagine any part of it, if I run out of toilet paper or my sheets aren't clean or there's a smudge on my window, whatever it is, it's your fault because I booked it through you guys. I'm paying a premium price and it's your fault. And so you have to control that process as tightly as possible because even though you don't have control of everything, you have to be responsible to the guests because you're the person that they see in the beginning and see at the end.
control is one thing, responsibility is another, and responsibility trumps control. That's one of the great parts about working directly with the organizers, having long-term relationships with the hotels and transportation to make sure that if there's a problem, that we're the priority. And a lot of this is what the access is great that customers are paying for. But a lot of it is bundled up with ease of use and making sure that we can solve problems that effectively no one else can.
Right. Yeah. And that's what it's all about. So how do you go about partnering with hotels at these events? Because it's such an essential element to the overall, what you're able to offer.
Yeah, it's so we have a benefit oftentimes in that by being directly associated with the organizing body, they will take us into either a bid process. Sometimes we're out there on our own doing this. We know that there's in most marketplaces, because of the size and scope of what we do, there's no one hotel that will be able to satisfy our entire needs. When you talk about the Kentucky Derby this year in 2022, we'll have almost 10,000 people that attend the event with us through an experience program. So just as an example, so we go into the marketplace and first thing we want to make sure that we get the best amenities for our customers. So we'll do an audit of all the available hotels, and then we look for hotel groups that we know are good operators. And then we try to do long-term partnerships. And what we find is a commitment to each other over a long period of time. It serves as value for them to have a partner in us. And we know the consistency that we'll get in the delivery that we'll have from those hotels.
So Brian, if you come to me, I have a 5-star hotel, I'm around the Kentucky Derby, you come to me and say, I need 20 rooms guaranteed for the Kentucky Derby for the next 10 years. And I want to pay this price. And I go, Brian, go scratch your butt, because that's my premium time. I'm not doing any discounting. Good luck and God bless you. So how do you get those? How do you get those opportunities?
We certainly have had those conversations, and that has been an answer that I've heard on probably more than one occasion.
They probably didn't say. They probably didn't say but. They probably didn't say but.
The long term. What we found is just over time that the long-term benefit of what having a consistent provider like Quint or a Derby Experiences or F1 Experiences brings a level of clientele, an ease of use, and a long-term commitment. And you're right, in the first year when a hotel opens up and they're the new hotel, we may or may not be able to engage with them. But over time, as they see the volume and the quality of customer and the long-term commitment that we make, we always end up with the right rooms in the right locations. And I'll tell you, it seems like it should be a bigger problem, but we're also not someone it's not as though we go into a market asking for a deep discount.
Right.
We understand it's a premium. We understand they need to make money. We want the hoteliers to make money.
And that's your whole thing, because you're charging premium pricing to create great experience and remove the hassle factor from people. So you're not in there negotiating for a bare bottoms rate at their peak season. You just want to make sure you have access to those rooms to create that overall fluidity of experience for your customers. Right.
That is correct.
So it's a little bit different than, hey, I'm going to be coming and doing an event at your hotel. I need a bulk rate discount. Right. That is
really not what we're doing. What we're doing is coming and saying we're providing the premium experience. We're directly associated with the organizer. We've got a great clientele, and we're willing to commit to you at a premium price for a 5-year period of time.
Right.
That answer is generally not scratch your butt.
Right. So let me ask you a question. I like to think I'm a revenue manager, even though I'm a hotel guy. As the event gets closer, and that guy or girl who has disposable income, and everything's sold out, I can't get to anything. I thought I was the guy that knew the guy who knew the guy.
And he does.
And well, I asked for your cell phone number, Brian, so I'm definitely going to know the guy. So what I say is I can probably get you anything you want, but it's going to cost.
Right.
So if I call you on Super Bowl Sunday and say, hey, I want a premium package, I want a Super Bowl seat, is it available? 1 o'clock, like 10 minutes before kickoff.
Yeah, so it is available, but generally not through us. One of the things that I'll say about our business is our customer base understands the quality of what we deliver, and they buy early. Everybody's interested in having the guy. Oftentimes we are the guy or the person. They also understand the demand in terms of what we provide is at a premium right now. And it has been for some time. When you talk about the Kentucky Derby, we'll sell out of packages some of the premium packages the week following the event. So we try to take care of our repeat customers. We try to take care of them in advance. But there's right now, demand outstrips inventory. So we will sell just about everything that we have, and we'll be sold out prior to the event. There's generally some ticket options available, but when you get to the experiential side, it's usually gone.
Do you do dynamic pricing? So as you get closer, more demand, the prices go up?
A little bit. I mean, what we try to do, because of the prices that you guys already see, we try to maintain some level of consistent pricing. There may be some variation depending on what the delivery of that product. If right now we're dealing with some food costs going up because of shortages in labor, and so some of those things we may make small adjustments. But it's not a dynamic pricing generally where you see that we were at 2,000 one day and 8,000 the next because we're down to our last 5. You might see something go from 4,000 to 5,000 because the delivery got a little more expensive throughout the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. When you're talking about those prices, there's only a certain level. Even people that have a lot of money say, hey, enough's enough.
Yep. Yeah. There certainly is that response at times. Now, how we opened up was and we as a company generally provide access at all different levels. So I have the ability to start with a customer that thinks they want the most premium experience, and then they go, oh, you know what, maybe that doesn't fit the budget this year.
Right.
Let's go through, what else, what can I get for this dollar amount? And you say, okay, this is what it looks like. And what I can promise you is your experience when you buy through us is going to be better than the guy that's sitting next to you that bought a ticket only.
Right. Right.
And
well,
we have
think
to
about all that
like
extra work that those people have to do, right? They have to put together all those different components, and you're not really achieving that state of zen that I would want to as a customer, of just being able to go through the experience without having to think of the mechanics for every single element of that experience as I'm going through it.
Do you have the package where I get to receive the ball on the opening kickoff of Super Bowl?
It's called the not
We're
in your
working
life.
on it, Anthony. We're working on it.
That's been my dream my whole life, to just catch the ball when the whole world is looking at you, and that pressure of don't drop the ball. I want to do that once, and
You do
almost
realize
want to drop the ball.
There's a massive hit coming after you catch the ball. Just want to warn you in advance.
Oh, see, why do you take my fun out of that?
How much extra do you pay to not get the massive hit?
Right.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
Right.
There's got to be a package for that, right? No,
So,
but what you do is you really make dreams come true. And with that said, and I'm not putting you on the spot here, because there are these incredible life dreaming, waiting your whole life to do this. Like my two number 1, number 2 bucket lists, I've waited till I was in my 50s to do them, and I only got to do it because I was on the TV show. But I may be able to afford that. I might have done it anyway. But how about if I'm a kid and I just can't afford it? Do you guys donate some of these packages to Make-A-Wish and things like that?
Yeah. So throughout the year, we will take up different causes and try to satisfy those needs. I mean, I can tell you that as I walked around Austin, we probably had what I'll call 10 wow moments that my staff had set up attendance for people that otherwise wouldn't be able to do it.
Oh, cool.
And to be able to go up and not only take our normal package, but then provide some type of takeaway element. I do believe you said something, we're changing people's lives. It is the passion that I have around this business, which is I believe everybody has a memory as a kid where they went into a baseball stadium or a football stadium and saw the green grass, or they were in a triple overtime game with their parents. And you can't guarantee that the game is going to go a particular way. I believe that what we do is we make every single attendance a special moment, and that changes people's lives. It means that they walk away and they remember them forever. And because of that, the pressure's on for us to deliver.
Yeah. I remember there was a moment a couple years ago. My friend is the announcer for the New York, the Brooklyn Nets, and so we're on the Barclay. I actually had tears thinking about it. We're in the Barclay floor, and he says, "Hey, come down." So it's right as everybody's warming up. So my daughter's with me. And my daughter's not 7 at the time. She's probably like 16, 17. And I said, come on, babe, let's go on the floor. So I'm on the floor as everybody's working out, literally within inches of me, not even feet, like right there. I'm getting hit in the head with the ball. And all of a sudden, my daughter looks at me and she goes, and I'm like, what? She goes, Dad, turn around. So I turn around and my elbow hits LeBron James. LeBron James was literally like back to back on me. And my daughter's just like, and like that was a moment that I didn't expect. And it was, of all the things, I mean, I had her in the front seats at UFC watching Ronda Rousey because she loved Ronda Rousey. Unfortunately, that was the day Ronda Rousey got retired. But like that was a great moment that I paid for, and it wasn't cheap. But that one little moment of seeing LeBron James within inches of her was this like event she will never forget. So it really is, because especially when, like, if you have someone that can afford a $20,000 package or a $50,000 package or whatever the package is, those people probably rolled up in a Mercedes, probably go to a really nice condo at night and fly first class. But that kid that you donate or however you do it to get that, there is not I can't imagine a package you can sell that would be more special than seeing that kid. Mind blown.
It's the importance of, there's a lot of, and there's certainly money to be made in the premium high-end packages, and we provide those. But I probably get the most enjoyment out of the entry-level packages, because it's generally the type of folks that you're talking about right there. It's a father-son, father-daughter, mother-son, whatever it might be. And they're experiencing something in a bonding level, which is so fun to watch. I mean, in Austin a couple of weeks ago, there was this moment where the race day was there and it was starting, and we went lights out and the cars revved up and raced up the hill and the whole crowd went crazy. And I just was standing there and I was like, we're back. Like, this is exactly why we do this. And there was this sense of like, just, you could feel the energy around. And that's something that you can't replicate in watching it on TV so it was pretty amazing.
Yeah, I was at my daughter's volleyball game the other day, and everybody was back, and we're all on top of each other. And I was just like, the energy was like, yes, we're back. Or whether you go to Times Square. So that's another thing that I think we're taking for granted, is let's just stop and realize that stadium behind Glenn is what all the stadiums around America look like around the world last year during the season. So it is absolutely insane that things are back and we get to experience them again.
It's pretty special.
Let me tell you, for my feeling, being in a room with 16,800 other people for 4 nights in a row felt pretty freaking awesome.
So Brian, let's do something that Glenn's not going to have any idea of what we're talking about. Ready?
Yeah, let's go.
What did you think about Glover on Saturday night?
And he's correct about that.
I mean,
UFC?
For at the age of 42 to win a world title and everything that he's been through, I mean, and to see him come back and win it the way he did in total domination was something to watch.
And the sweetest man you ever want to meet. And he said something very interesting. We're talking about the light heavyweight champion of the world, Glover. How do you say his last name? I just call him Glover.
Glover Teixeira.
Yeah. Teixeira. And he said something that really made it special for me. After all these years, 20 years, before anybody knew what the UFC was, he's been battling and fighting, and he's been a gentleman the whole way. And he turned to Dana White. Whether you love Dana or don't like Dana, you have to admire what he does. And what he said to Dana, he said, thank you for making sure the sport was here for me when I'm ready to win the championship. Like I've worked really hard, and this is the pinnacle of the UFC. This is the pinnacle of MMA. Like, it's never been a better day or time in the world for someone to become a champion. And like, thank you for allowing me to having it here for me. I thought that was the most special thing I've heard a champion say. Not like, I'm the champion and I knew it would happen. It's like, thank you for allowing my dream and this moment to kind of all come together. It was really special for me. I loved it.
Yeah, for a guy that just won the world championship, I don't think I heard him say "I" one time about I did this or I did that. It was all about his team, the availability of the sport. I mean, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah. And when he did it, what was the first thing he did? He got on his knees and crawled over to his opponent and kissed his opponent and respected his opponent. And then even when he got up, he didn't go nuts. He was just like, I did this. This is like almost like, when you meet somebody, a champion that wins with the Formula One, it's almost like, okay, like, yeah, like that happened in my dreams 1,000 times. So I knew that was going to happen. You know, I've done things in my career, like people like, aren't you excited? I'm like, no, I knew that was going to happen. And there's just that thing that you work so hard for so long that's inevitable. So anyway, that's the great thing of what you deliver. That event, if you're in the front row of something like that and you're a martial artist and you love watching that stuff and you're up front and you're seeing that, maybe you go back and you take a picture with them. I mean, that's a moment you'll never forget.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. So today's final question is, of course, brought to you by Dr. Producer Suzanne. You didn't know we have a PhD running this show behind stage, did you, Brian? How cool is that, right?
That's pretty cool.
I know. So she says, you mentioned you got your start in hospitality before making this transitions. What recommendation would you have for someone who has your passion for this aspect of the field to do as experience to get involved to start going on that path to advance their career?
So for someone that specifically wants to work in this field, is that the question?
Yeah, something like that. Yep.
Yeah, we're hiring.
Yeah, you're hiring.
Let me ask you a serious question. Do you have a New York City office?
We do not have a New York City office. So we've got offices across the country, not one in New York City. We have 2 offices, one in London, one in Bristol, one in Dubai, one in Australia, one in Montreal, but we do not have a presence in New York.
But is this something where someone would have to travel? Because I have somebody in mind for you. Would they have to do a lot of traveling?
Well, there are roles within the organization that travel a lot. There are roles within the organization that don't travel at all.
Right, we got to make sure I get your cell number.
Yeah, and Glenn, going back to your original question, you know, I say tongue in cheek that we're hiring. We are growing so quickly right now. But I would, if this is something that interests you, specifically around sports, specifically around hospitality, I mean, find the company that is doing exactly what it is that you find interesting, and go talk to them. I think that what we do is really, really special, and I take a bit of a noble purpose out of what we do. It's not just the fact that we can sell packages and make money for our organizers. I believe that we're connecting people. I believe that we're providing a service. And there's a lot of fulfillment that comes with that. So anybody that's considering a role in this field, no matter what it is, I highly recommend going out and chasing that dream, because this is something special that we do. And I have these lanyards behind me that are things that remind me that it should never be lost on me how incredible the places I go and the things that I get to see are. And I want that for all of our customers, and certainly for our employees. And so if you're thinking about it, chase it. There's no reason not to.
Yeah. And you know, it's interesting because a lot of people, they work really hard, and those moments that you bring together are the moments on their deathbed they'll remember. Like everything that I've done in my career, you know, when I was in Spain having dinner with my daughter at 11 o'clock at night after a shoot, I remember. I remember being in the UFC with the Ronda Rousey fight and Amanda Nunes the night before, taking a picture with my daughter. Those are the moments I remember. 99% of the other stuff, I don't remember anything. I don't remember what I had for dinner. I don't know what hotel I stayed in. I don't know. You know, I don't even remember who won. It's like just those moments with my kid is everything. And it's what you do really is,
Special.
bringing dreams alive, and really, really special.
It is special.
Brian, how can we learn more about Quint Events, where to get those packages, or if you want to partner with you guys?
Yeah, so quintevents.com is the best place to start. Off of that, you'll find yourself in F1 experiences, Derby experiences, but Quint Events is where it all starts.
Yep, they've got everything, even golf, if you guys like golf over there. So check it out. That, again, is quintevent.com. Check them out. Thank you, Brian. Thank you. We really appreciate you being here, man.
Wait,
Thanks,
I got
guys.
one question. Do you have a VIP event for the pickleball championships?
Working on it. It's in development. We do not.
Okay. All right. Listen, one day pickleball would be as big as the U.S. Open.
One day. We can only hope.
Take that, Wimbledon. All right. Thanks, Brian. See you later.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
And Brian, make sure I get your phone number, because I need to call you.
Yeah, hold on. Hey, Brian. Yeah, he put it in the private chat box. You see there's a private chat box over there?
Yeah,
all right,
will do.
Thanks.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. That was a lot of fun. Great day to be back. Of course, we've got a great set of shows all week, although tomorrow, Anthony not here. I don't know what we're going to
You know what? I've got a bone to pick with you, bro. I'm still looking at your vacation days. It's right here, and you didn't have yesterday available. That you think just because you're the boss
right
of
here,
me,
Monday
that
11
you can
1. It
take
says
care-
no show.
No show, right? You're a no show.
Right.
You were a no show for the show.
Oh no.
That's why it says no show.
I will have to change the language on that to make it more
I
understandable.
was sitting here, like I actually moved a meeting, and I was sitting
Oh
here,
no,
and I have everything, and I'm like, guys, there's no show.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was going to the airport at that.
You were going to the airport.
first
And so, how is Vegas? I haven't been there in a month, so I know they miss me. How's the
packed.
airport?
Packed. But funny enough, you know how the last time I went to Vegas 2 weeks ago for the Best Western event, we were talking about the later at night it got, the less people were following the mask mandates, right? So the same thing was happening, except most ironic was that on the one day of the year people are supposed to wear masks, everybody said F it, and nobody was wearing masks basically on Halloween.
Oh, you know who was there last week?
Yeah.
My friend Brian Newman doing his show at the Nomad with Lady Gaga, and they had some amazing shows. I was watching online, incredible.
Yeah, I wanted to go see that, but I was caught up with the other stuff. I wish I did go see one of those.
Yeah. All right, my brother.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much for being here. We'll be back live tomorrow, and again, probably all the way up until the last week of the year when nobody wants to do anything anyway. So we got a whole lot of live shows coming at you. One of the things about these live shows is we love doing these on video, but we know you love listening to it on audio as well, which is why listennotes.com has us in the top 0.1% of every podcast on the planet. So find us at Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Samsung, wherever you get your shows. Well, you'll find No Vacancy Live there. And if you want to talk with either one of us, of course, he's at Anthony Hotels and I'm Traveling Glenn.
You know, we should go on one of those version excursions.
Yep.
So we can say we're the number one podcast out of Earth. Off Earth.
Oh, that's awesome. Let's do that. All right. I got to go. I got Richard Branson on the other line. He's calling us to get us
But
on.
stay in the green room because I got to ask a question.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for being here. Remember, you've got one life, so blaze on and
be kind to yourself.
be right back here tomorrow. Thanks for watching.